For the past few years, churches across our denomination have waded into very challenging, but very important conversations about human sexuality, the Bible, and what it means to live and minister faithfully together in the 21st century. During this time, Thrive has offered resources. First, the Challenging Conversations Toolkit, and now, Next Steps, to help churches and classes address these challenging issues in ways that avoid some common pitfalls, and instead seek to hold grace and truth together without compromise. Now, Next Steps is not designed to tell you what to think about an issue. So if you're talking about human sexuality, which is the most common use of these resources, we will encourage you to engage the wisdom and decisions of our denomination deeply. But we're not going to tell you what your church must do to implement those decisions. Rather, Next Steps is primarily a process tool. What you talk about and what you decide, that's ultimately up to you. We're here to help you with how to talk and how to decide. You see, in our years of experience consulting with churches, we found that there are a number of common process pitfalls that tend to undermine good learning or decision-making when a tough issue comes up. So in those moments, a lot of us get anxious or overly defensive or secretive, or we go too fast and we miss some important factor, or we're so afraid of what might happen, we just sweep the whole thing under the rug. What Next Steps does is it helps your council anticipate those challenges so that when a difficult issue threatens to turn up the temperature in your church, when you begin to feel like you're going to have to choose between grace or truth, you will instead have the tools and the process to turn the temperature back down so that you can put the focus on the issue and your community and not on a bunch of preventable process mistakes. So how does it work? Well, Next Steps starts by acknowledging that not every church is asking the same questions, or has the same needs, or is experiencing the same level of urgency. That's why we always start with an intake conversation or two with leaders on the ground. What are the needs you're trying to address? What are the challenges and opportunities that are unique to your setting? And how can good process help? Once we know that, most churches use the resource in one or more of three main ways. So, first, we help churches just learn about an issue. You know, some churches aren't even sure, can we bring this topic up without blowing up the church? And so Next Steps gives you a small group learning structure called a listening circle. We train your facilitators, we give you a leader's guide, and then you use that structure to engage in the learning that's appropriate for your community. What makes the structure so helpful is that it will encourage participants to speak clearly about the important issues, right? We're not going to avoid them, while also clearly expecting that we will respect and love each other even as we disagree. Okay, so some churches need to learn about an issue. Other churches may feel like the learning is not entirely done, but is sufficiently done, and now it's time to make a decision about how to implement the learning. So here the question is, how will our community take what we've been learning and apply it to the particular context we minister in? And so Next Steps gives tools and prompts to help a church engage in Christian discernment and decision-making. Okay, so some churches need to learn, others need to discern and decide, and then still other churches simply need to present or announce a decision that's in the process of being made. So these are councils who they've done some learning and discernment, and now they're ready to tell their churches, hey, this is how the council believes we should move forward. Now, in churches where everyone agrees, This announcing is pretty easy. But let's be honest, there are not a lot of churches where everyone agrees on all these issues. Most of our churches have at least some people who will disagree or who at least come to the table with some serious questions or concerns. So the goal of Next Steps is, how can we take someone's concerns seriously? Can we even learn from them? Might we even tweak our recommendation because of them, and yet do that without giving them, say, full veto power? Wherever your church is at and whatever issue is turning up the temperature in your community, we want process to help you, not hurt you. We want to help you listen well to God and to one another as you seek to take these important issues and apply them winsomely, missionally, and faithfully in your context. To learn more and to find out how to adapt this resource for the unique needs of your community, check us out at crcna.org/nextsteps or contact us at discern@crcna.org.